Well, Nigeria last night took another significant step towards winning a fourth African Cup of Nations title in Ivory Coast by beating her arch nemesis, Cameroon, 2-0 in one of the round of 16 games played at the Felix Houphouët-Boigny Stadium in Abidjan. Our ICE correspondent, Aaron Akirijola, joins us now to break things down as they went. Good morning, Aaron the Baron. Aaron the Baron.
Yeah, good morning to you, OG.
I am sure you were elated last night.
Good morning to you, Steve.
Good morning, Aaron.
Shaito and Adeswa is here as well, Aaron. Shaito and Adeswa, okay, as well are here.
Yeah, certainly.
All right.
Yeah, certainly. Well, Shaito, Adeswa there in Abuja.
Fantastic.
So I want to just say that.
Just give us a recap of yesterday's game. How would you assess the Super Eagles' performance as a whole? And on an individual level, which players stood out for you?
All right, OJ, if we were to get straight into this particular match, and it was a blockbuster fixture, I must actually started off on that particular note, noting that coming into this particular fixture, there were a lot of talks about past experiences, the clashes between the Super Eagles of Nigeria and the Indomitable Lions of Cameroon, and all that had happened in the Nations Cup, several heartbreaks, and the Felix Houphouët-Boigny Stadium that actually hosted an AFCON game, which was a final back in 1984, which, as a matter of fact, the Super Eagles did lose to the Indomitable Lions of Cameroon. So a lot was being said about all the rivalries over the years to our neighbors playing out. But I must tell you, when the 90-minute clock began for the Super Eagles, it was almost a no contest. The coaches' huge dexterity played out in that particular fixture because he's been using the 3-4-3 formation. We've said it time and time again. It is actually suited the Super Eagles like hands to a glove. And I must say that kudos to the coach, kudos to the Super Eagles, and more importantly, we saw a game that the Super Eagles wanted it the most in that particular set of fixtures. Let's start it off. Adebola Lookman shone like a million stars. Let's also say that Stanley Wabali also was a man that gave so much to the game. And not forgetting Victor Osimhen. We could go on and on. It was a superlative, well-rounded, collective performance from the Super Eagles. And as it stands right now, the team they doubted at the beginning of the tournament are literally in the quarterfinals.
All right, Aaron, I can feel your excitement. But I'm wondering, is it the same match that everybody watched yesterday that you are this excited about? Yes, we scored 2 goals. Yes, we dominated. But then the sort of languages that you're using is like we've already won the cup. Do you think that after the lackluster qualifying stages, 1-1, 1-0, 1-0. Do you think that we are now the Super Eagles are now totally out of what Fanny Amon famously called fumbling and wumbling, to progress? Do you think we are totally, with what we saw with the game with Cameroon yesterday, we're out of that? And then what was the atmosphere like at the Pullman Hotel where the Super Eagles guys are camped? And I know that you can also give us a bit of what the city felt like yesterday, from Plateau to Cocody to Yopougon, and all the interesting areas in Abidjan. What was it like for Nigerians last night?
First of all, it was a very, very fired up atmosphere before the game. As a matter of fact, when the scoreboard actually read 22,000 in a 25,000 stadium, it only showed that everyone came out for a game that wasn't being played by the host, and it was packed to the rafters, full of electricity. There were a lot of expectations from the fans. Now, Steve, you might say that the group stages we wumbled and fumbled, but that's the group stages. We've actually grown. We are evolving as a team, and that is the exciting thing, because it's only getting better. In the group stages, especially against Guinea-Bissau, we might have put in a very subpar performance. But one thing played out yesterday, which was the fire in their belly, something we've been asking for from the Super Eagles, because we know that they can actually rise to the occasion. And certainly they might not have gone to the streets celebrating, because this is Nigeria, and certainly we are playing in Ivory Coast. But one thing was certain, those that came to that particular stadium yesterday saw something that we've been hoping to see from the Super Eagles, because they were the hungry of the two teams on the day. They were winning the second balls, and they were fighting for every single ball. Every 50-50 chance, the Super Eagles were going for it. And ultimately, that particular strategy worked. We tamed the Lions. Literally, in actual sense, we did tame the Lions on the day.
All right, then we did see Jose Pedro issuing an update on the status of Stanley Wabali after the goalkeeper suffered an injury late in the second half. Now, how likely is it that he's going to be part of the next round for the Super Eagles of Nigeria when they face Angola on February 2nd? And I have to hold you. I remember we spoke on Newsday yesterday and you predicted a 2-1 win. So you were very close. What's that feeling like?
First of all, Sheito, I must say that I saw that coming, because the truth is this: the Super Eagles are very, very collected, and more importantly, are solid in defense. And the defense right now is looking very impregnable, because 3 games and no one has been able to breach the defense line of the Super Eagles. So I was confident that they won't be scoring enough goals to probably win that particular fixture. I knew the Super Eagles, we know the Super Eagles have got goals in them, but they are slowly rising to the top like fine milk. And more importantly, they are slow burners when it comes to attack. But one thing is certain, that the Super Eagles are looking like championship material at this moment in time. Speaking about Stanley Wabali and the goalkeeper, we were just holding our breath, and I must tell you that Nigerians have been in prayer mode, from the Christians to the Muslims, and even those idol worshippers right now are praying for Stanley Wabali, because he's been assured in front of goal. He's been very, very composed between the sticks, and Stanley Wabali has really showed that he owns that number 1 jersey for the Super Eagles. When he was to be substituted, the captain of the team, talking about Ahmed Musa, was distraught, and he was telling him not to go off. That's how much we believe in him, and that's how much faith has been bestowed upon him. And Francis Uzoho, who has fumbled in time past, came in and he did not exude confidence. He did not carry the aura of a man that should be a replacement or that should be a starter. And that worried everyone who was at the stadium, because I must tell you the truth. What happens if he's not fit enough by the second to play against Angola? We spoke to him after the game, personally, and he was saying that he would have to wait till today to see if the swellings do go down, and if they do, he might just be in line to actually start against Angola. But one thing is certain, at the moment, we've gone into overdrive in terms of prayers.
Well, we'll definitely keep praying, and looking forward to the match on Friday against the giant sable antelope of Angola. What parts of their team should we be afraid of? What should we look out for when we're playing Angola on Friday? You know, we're very happy with our successes so far, but now we're facing a new challenge. So where do you see the biggest challenges coming from?
Now, I must say that at the moment, I'm sounding a little bit bullish, because I've seen the Super Eagles play 4 games, literally, and I've watched them intricately. The truth is this: the biggest headache for any team going against the Super Eagles is how do you break down, how do you knock down that very, very astute defense, that defense that has stood tall, impregnable, and that defense that has shown that they will not let anything slip through the cracks. They are watertight at the moment, and that's the biggest headache for Angola. Angola might have walloped Namibia yesterday 3-0. But when they're going against the Super Eagles in a 3-4-3 formation or a metamorphosed 5-4-1 formation, one thing is certain: you have to contest against some of the best legs in midfield and in defense at this competition. As it stands right now, the Super Eagles had the best midfield and defensive pairing in the tournament. Without a doubt, the stats are there. We've only conceded 1 goal in 4 games.
Well, no, Steve, you go ahead with your point.
All right, Aaron, we're running out of time, but, I just thought that I should put this in a 2-in-1 kind of a question. What will be your overall assessment? 4 matches for all the teams so far. What will be your overall assessment of the planning and the organization and, of course, the delivery of the host country? I had a whistle stopover in Abidjan for the Nigeria-Cote d'Ivoire match, and I saw that, at least for the Alassane Ouattara Stadium, it was quite top-notch. The boxes were super, comparable to what you will get in Europe. But then we saw that when the host team lost, there was a little breakdown of law and order in some areas, some destructions, etc. What's your assessment in terms of organization, in terms of security? And then if Cote d'Ivoire loses again, is it tomorrow or day after tomorrow they are playing? How do you think it will pan out?
Steve, it's unfortunate that the Ivorians haven't spent over $1 billion in the bid to execute this particular tournament. We're hoping to see the Elephants of Ivory Coast probably display some of the most exciting football they have actually witnessed in their own history. But they've been disappointed and they've been very flat at this tournament. And they can blame themselves alone because just because you're the host, nothing will be given. Literally, whatever you get, you would have to earn. And that is the name of the game. And I must commend the gendarmeries and the security forces that quelled what would have been a full-blown riot, because some people took to the streets and decided to cause mayhem, breaking down buses and shattering windows and trying to just set the city ablaze. They were able to quell that and quell it in record time, and I must say kudos to them. But save that, we've had a very, very well cultured walk. AFCON. It's almost looking like a walk of one of the very best. I must say this, I've attended about 4 AFCONs, 3 for a rise, I must say. And I must tell you that this has been one of the most organized, one of the best. And at the moment in time, what is happening on the pitch of play is hugely complementary to what is happening off the pitch of play in terms of organization. And one thing must be mentioned, that Patrick Motsepe has brought in more monies to CAF, and that will mean that the organization will be more elaborate and things will be marked out as it should be. And that has been just what has played out at this particular tournament. I must say kudos to them. Off and on the pitch, they've been spectacular and they've been on point.
All right. Spectacular and on point. Aaron Akerejola, thank you very much for bringing us up to speed. We're very excited that, the Nigerian team have grown into themselves. You're excited, even though Steve did not sound so excited, but thank you very much for giving us the boost that we need. Nigeria must bring that cup back home, Aaron. Thank you very much. Don't enjoy too much.
All right, Aaron the Baron, when you have an hour to get to Rue Princess in the Yopougon area of Abidjan, that's where you get to know why it is called the Little Paris, Le Petit Paris of Africa.